Alright guys, we're going to start out by talking about levels, which are going to help you get correct contrast in your photos, contrast in value. So that means your brights and your darks, it'll help to keep those even. So there are a couple of ways of doing this, but we're going to do them using adjustment layers. So here we have a photo to work with. I'm going to go ahead right here. We'll list all of your adjustment layers, and we'll be studying almost every single one of these, but to me the most important one is levels. So let's go ahead and click that. Now when I do that, two things are going to happen. This property palette is going to bring up this mountain looking thing. Yours will probably look different. It's called a histogram. The other thing is that if I look on my layers palette, I can see that now I have an additional layer. So let's go ahead, and you can see it clicked off of that because I don't have the levels layer selected. So if I click on that, or even if your properties layer is gone, if you double click on your levels layer, it will show up. So typically what's going to happen is you'll have little zigzags. If you ever have a flat line, you're going to need to move your end here to where the flat line begins. I've got a jump here, so that's not technically a flat line. This one is going to increase the blacks in your photo, the darks. This one is going to increase the light in your photo. And this one here is going to adjust the midtones one way or the other. So if I pull them over this way, then I'm making the midtones lighter. If I pull it this way, I'm making the midtones darker. So if we look at the histogram on this picture, you can see that here the information just falls off. So if you have a flat line like that, you want to keep in mind that flat lines on your histogram are much like flat lines on like your heart monitor. If you have them, then you're probably dead. So you want to make sure to bring it up to right where the mountain starts. The nice thing about doing these in adjustment layers is that then I can turn this on and off and I can see the difference. So if this is with the levels and this is without, you can see that it looks significantly more washed out if you have any flat lines. You can also use levels to adjust color. However, I prefer different ways of doing that. If you want to play around with it, you can change RGB or CMYK, whichever is there. You can play around with it in here.